Hello, people. Hello. Welcome back. Yes, yes, yes. You know, it's funny because I have so many other things that I'm planning on covering, and I'm just trying to figure it out. People are like, it's going to be late. It's going to be late. So I said, you know what? I'm going to give you 4 minutes early so nobody can complain about me being late. How's everybody doing this morning? You guys know who I am. I'm Nate the lawyer. And today, we've been in our essentially ending coverage of the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial. We are essentially pretty much at the end. So we had Amber Heard's team jump out and start giving their spin, and it's so fascinating. I have a video coming out that are literally taking all the talking points that were put out there, and they're going to show you how Elaine gave all the talking points to the media, and the media just came on and just continuously did the same thing with the talking points. It's crazy. It's crazy. But it shows you how it's so easy to manipulate the media, because they were saying they literally are taking what Elaine is saying and is saying it as truth. So it's going to be a fascinating piece. Also, for those of you who don't know, I was in law enforcement. And let me see if I can pull this video up real quick. I wanted to show you guys something. So we are going to be covering the shooting in Texas. I'm trying to see if I can find you. But I have personally been involved in an active shooter scenario when I was in law enforcement. The person, essentially we were able to stop it before anyone was killed or harmed. But it turned into a hostage situation. It was pretty crazy. But I want to show you. Let me see if I have it here. I actually have our training video, parts of our training video, and I'm going to show you guys how we were trained for active shooters. And I'm going to also show you guys just the process of when you go to a scene, particularly, and there's an active shooter. Oh, hold on. Let me try to fix my audio. My audio seems really, really messed up. Oops. All right. Audio. Test. All right. I think my audio should be good now. No, the audio is so bad. That's my back person back. Let me see if I can hear it. All right. It's good now. Audio's fixed. All right. Sorry about the bad audio, guys. So now we are good. Okay, so I was on active shooter. So I was actually trained in active shooter, and what they used to train us to do is go to the hot spot. So in our situation, when there was an active shooter, they trained us. You go to the shooter, and the mentality about going to the shooter and engaging the shooter was that it changes the shooter. What? Potential assassin arrested at Ooh, I'm going to be covering that too. Thank you for that. I didn't even know that. So the thing with the active shooters, and when you go to an active shooter scene, as law enforcement, if you're let's say if I'm the only one there, and I hear shooting inside, and there's an active shooter, you go to confront the shooter. Now, it's difficult when you're the only one there, but that's what they train you to do. Why? Why do they train an officer, even if you're alone, to go and engage the shooter? The reason why is that if law enforcement goes in and the shooter's killing people who have no guns, and you start engaging the shooter, it changes the shooter's mindset. The shooter doesn't know if it's one person or 100 people there, right? So if you start engaging the shooter's mindset changes from one of murder, where I'm alone and I can do all this stuff, to one of escape, right? The cops are here. I got to get away. Killing people is not going to be their number one priority at that point. Is going to be escaping law enforcement. So that's the way they trained us. And I'll show you the training regiment. I actually did incident command, where what they would do is they would take us and we would do active shooter drills. So we would pretend there was an active shooter in like one building, and then I would be the one who would assign people how to go to the building and things of that nature. So we'll go through all that training that I have, and I'll show you what they train us to do, and then we'll see what happened in Texas and how that training was. So that, and again, that part of that's going to be here on YouTube, but I'm going to have to push most of that to locals or even to Rockfin, so you can see the training videos, because YouTube demonetizes all that. So I won't be able to show you the training videos and all that. Hey, Wendy, what's going on? And Vanati, Vanny, what's going on? How you guys doing? So we're going to go through all that. So So you'll see my training video. I thought I had it here, which I do, and I can show you a clip of it, of what they used to train us to do, which is wild in of itself. So let me see if I can just show you a clip before we get into the Depp v. Heard thing. But this is a clip. You know what? I'll show you guys afterwards because this is acting up. But I was going to show you a clip of, you know, us going into the building fully armed, you know, with SWAT and everything. It's a great. The training was fun. It is fun. Unfortunately, it's fun, but it's really important to understand what cops have to do. And one of the things I'm going to say too is that it's scary when you get the call. There's an active shooter. Go. It's scary. It's scary. In my case, the active shooter, he didn't kill anybody. We were able to stop him, and he got like 20 years in prison and banned from, you know, wherever the location is. So, you know, we were able to save lives, but it was, you know, I was shook. I'm not going to, anybody who tells you when you hear somebody's got a gun and he's threatening to kill everybody, that shakes you up. You know, I had my bulletproof vest, you got everything, but that's shaky, baby. All right. So let's get back. So now I want to go into Johnny Depp. So we've heard Amber Heard's team talk about everything they want to talk about. Johnny's a bad person. The jury's wrong, everything. So Johnny Depp's team is going to answer all the questions that Elaine had. So let's go into it and let's see what exactly they are saying. So here is, now they did two shows. They did the Today Show this morning, and they also did Good Morning America. So today, let's start with the Today Show, right? Let's start with the Today Show. So this is Johnny Depp and Amber Heard's lawyer on the Today Show this morning, speaking out. Let me put this on screen so you guys can see it. Here we go. All right, let's see what they got to say. Make sure this is loud enough so you guys can hear it.
Joining us now are Johnny Depp's lawyers, Camille Vasquez and Benjamin Chu. And a quick disclosure, my husband has done consulting work for the Depp legal team, but not in connection with this interview. So with that aside.
See, I like that. I like that. Let us know any conflicts. Hey, my husband's done work for this team, so just letting you know. Makeup Fights, love you, Nate. Thanks for exposing the video on this. Oh my God, you don't know. We got some really interesting stuff coming up. Especially, I'm going to show you how lies travel through the media, how one person's talking points have traveled through. We're going to see how how the media is using Elaine's talking points with all these shows. It's a fascinating look into how these things are spread. But let's listen to this.
Let me ask you, did you speak to your client right after the verdict? What was his reaction in the moment?
I think just an overwhelming sense of relief. I was speaking with another friend of ours, a mutual friend of Johnny's and ours, and he said, I haven't seen Johnny smile like that in 6 years.
The weight of the world is off of his shoulders. He's got his life back.
As you well know, the law does not favor a plaintiff like Johnny Depp.
It does not.
In a defamation case like this, the burden is very high, the threshold is high, and he crossed it. Frankly speaking, were you stunned at this victory? Ben?
Well, we had ultimate confidence in Johnny and the jury and the facts of this case, and you can only hope that the jury will see it. And in this case, they did, and the verdict was overwhelmingly in his favor.
I should mention the jury did find Mr. Depp responsible for defamation for one of the statements made by his lawyer. It accused her essentially of staging a scene in furtherance of an abuse.
Now, I do want to stop it here to say one thing. She's right, but if you notice, the other media, that what they're going to say is, they both won, right? Essentially, you hear a lot of the extreme left-wing media, and those who are still, Amber Heard supporters. They're saying they both won, right? This is a split decision. But so I think they're going to have to answer that question. Is this really a split decision? Did Amber Heard really win, and did they both win? And I think only a fool would say yes, but they're going to have to answer that.
Hoax. How do you square that finding with the rest of the verdict, Camille?
I think it's just the verdict is overwhelmingly positive for Johnny.
Of course,
and it was unanimous. There were 7 people that decided he was defamed.
Amber Heard's attorney was right here the day after the verdict, and she said the jury had not been permitted to see certain evidence that would have bolstered and verified Amber Heard's claims of abuse, in particular therapist notes. What is your response to that? And was there evidence that was suppressed for a valid legal reason that might have made a difference?
I think that.
But I would. They're glad that I'm not there answering this question, right? Because you know what I would have said? I would have said, yeah. The fact that she was arrested for domestic violence for beating her ex-wife. Yes, that's a fact that I think would have helped the jury understand that Amber Heard is not only a liar, but she's an abuser, right? That's something that was suppressed. That's something we could not get in. The fact that she had this history of abusing her intimate partners. That's something we thought was important. But again, let's see what they say. That's how I would have answered the question. I'm it's simple.
That was very disappointing to hear that and to hear her impugn the character of the jury. And the evidence came in that should come in, and the judge was very fair to both sides.
In particular, she cites the UK judgment. As we all know, Johnny Depp sued The Sun, a newspaper in the United Kingdom. He lost that case, the judge finding that claims by the newspaper that he was a wife beater were substantially true. Now, Amber Heard's lawyers say that judgment should have come into this court
see you,
case.
Wendy.
What say you?
Was a different process, right? And also, Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard in this case were the parties. They had different disclosure obligations. So we disagree. The overwhelming evidence that was presented in this case in Virginia far exceeded what was presented in the UK, and we believe the jury got it right.
As you know, this trial was very closely watched. Social media certainly took off in a way that we've seen high-profile trials before, but this is the social media age. Do you believe the jurors saw any of that, were swayed by any of that?
No, I don't think there's any reason to believe that the jurors violated their oath. And again, that suggestion was disappointing to hear.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, that's again. Now I do like what Benchu was saying. He's saying the two times she suggested the jury violated their oath. She alleged again, Amber's attorney alleged that the judge did something wrong and not letting evidence come in. So again, the one thing that that is so interesting is look at the difference in the way the professionals are answering the questions. Right? They're not throwing the judge under the thing. They're not doing anything. What they're doing is saying, yeah, the jury got it right. And, some things get in, some things don't get in. But you don't impugn the jury, right? You don't say that they violated their oath. And there could be ramifications for that when it comes to especially, hey, no problem, Sana. Especially when it comes to things like this. She's saying the jury was corrupt. Think about that, people. Elaine was saying the jury, and that's what he's saying. That's disappointing, right? To make it seem like you lost because the jury violated your oath. So they're essentially calling out Elaine for the nonsense.
I mean, Amber Heard's lawyers said so. She said it would have been unavoidable because it's on TikTok, it's on social media. I mean, in the old days, you'd tell the jury before they went out, don't read newspapers, don't watch the evening news. Now it's everywhere.
It is everywhere, but at the same time, they were admonished every single night. And they had a tremendous amount of respect, I think, for the court and the process, and they were doing the best that they could.
Yeah. Support for Johnny Depp online was exponentially greater than for Amber Heard. Just one example on TikTok, the Justice for Amber Heard hashtag has 27 million views. Justice for Johnny Depp, 20 billion. Woo. Heard's attorneys have suggested that perhaps this is because of an orchestrated campaign on behalf of Johnny Depp. Do you know anything about an online campaign on behalf of Johnny Depp?
That is utterly baseless. In fact, very early in the case, the prior Chief Judge White had thrown out a count in the counterclaims that related to that. It was absolutely absurd and baseless.
And you know for a fact that neither he nor his agents nor anyone tried to, in some way, pay for or otherwise encourage this kind of social media activity.
Categorically false.
Why do you think the jury didn't believe her? Because when you look at the verdict, it really comes down to that. Yeah. The issue was, is what she's saying true or false? And by their verdict, they said it's false.
It's categorically false. And not only did they say it was false, they said it was false with malice, right? She intentionally said these false things, right? So I want to see how they answer this question.
Well, my sense is that it had a lot to do with accountability, that Johnny owned his issues.
That's
He
true.
was very candid about his alcohol and drug issues. He was candid about some unfortunate texts that he wrote. And I think it was a sharp contrast to Ms. Heard, who didn't seem, or at least the jury may have perceived, that she didn't take accountability for anything.
As you know, this has been closely watched, and in the Me Too context, some people have wondered whether there is a larger resonance to this trial, whether it sends a message. Do you see any larger message beyond the case you tried?
No, I mean, frankly, we don't. We're here to talk about the case that we tried, right? We encourage all victims to come forward, have their day in court, which is exactly what happened in this case.
And that, I think, is the key, right? They're trying to say, what's the larger message? But if you notice, on one side, they're saying the larger message is not for victims, it's for women. Women may not believe. But as Camille is saying, there is no larger message here, right? The victim here was Johnny Depp, right? The victim here that needed their day in court was Johnny Depp. And the victim in this case prevailed. The abuser was the one that didn't prevail. Now, what you'll see on other media is they'll switch it. They literally try to switch it and say, well, Amber was the victim and she wasn't believed, and this is going to discourage victims. But if you're a victim, that's not this case. In this case, the victim of Amber Heard's victim, Amber Heard's the abuser. The jury found that Amber Heard was the abuser. Understand that. And in this case, the victim won. In this case, the victim won.
Do you feel confident in your appeal? Ms. Heard does intend to appeal.
We feel very confident that there are no errors that would justify any kind of successful appeal.
And then finally, I have to ask you, not since OJ, perhaps, has the trial been so closely watched and the lawyers become famous people in their own right. What has that been like for you, particularly you, Camille? I think I saw someone on social media get a tattoo of your face on their body, which is weird.
Yeah, people are crazy. People are going crazy.
It's been overwhelming.
Camille's a beautiful woman
and
now,
surreal,
so.
but to the extent that
And she's smart.
can encourage young women to stay in school and maybe inspire them to pursue a legal career, then it's all worth it.
Well, and
Camille is such a class act. And Ben Chu, this is like you're looking at casting right now for two. If you were casting a movie and needed two lawyers, you got it right here, right? They did a fantastic job. That was a pretty good interview. It's sad because part of the story, and I think an interesting part of the story, is that the victims, the media, a lot of the media is not calling Johnny Depp the victim because he's a male, and I think that is shameful. It's shameful because it does show a bias. It shows a bias in our society that if these roles were reversed, let's say if Johnny Depp was a female and Amber Heard was a male, we wouldn't be having this type of discussion. But because he is a male, he has to still overcome that. So, and we all see it. I think everybody sees it. We see it in the media and we see all the spin, right? But at the end of the day, the victim here got justice. And that's one thing that people are trying to ignore. Let's now look at GMA because they went on GMA too. So let's look at GMA. Let's see what happened. Come on, here we go. Good morning, America. You got it all queued up. Should we do a full screen? Oh, I can zoom in. Here we go. Let's do it.
Vasquez and Ben Chu sitting down for their first interview since the blockbuster verdict that Depp was defamed by ex-wife Amber Heard. Welcome to you both. Camille, let me begin with you. I think the verdict surprised a lot of legal experts. They thought it was a very uphill fight from the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
I think the key to victory was focusing on the facts and the evidence, and Johnny's opportunity to speak the truth for the first time.
I gotta say one thing. Camille looks fucking great, right? And so smart. Whoever's marrying that woman has got them a prize.
It was 6 years in the making, and I think he was able to connect with the jury and the general public and tell what really happened in this relationship.
He wasn't in the courtroom for the verdict. What was his reaction when you told him?
He was over the moon. It was like the weight of the world had been taken off his shoulders, and I feel that finally, after 6 years, he's gotten his life back.
He also went on TikTok yesterday thanking his supporters on social media. What role did social media play in this verdict?
My view is that social media played no role whatsoever. This was a decision made by the jury on the evidence presented by both sides. And as Camille said, it was overwhelmingly in Mr. Depp's favor.
Ms. Heard's lawyers put out a statement yesterday saying the verdict was a setback for women's rights. And they went on to say that it's unseemly and unprofessional for you all to be, quote, taking a victory lap for setting back decades of how women can be treated in the courtroom. How do you respond to that?
I think it's disappointing.
So you see how, all right, so Amber Heard's team is saying, we can go out and give press and do all this crazy stuff, right? We can go out and do this stuff. But if you guys do it, it's bad. That's, you see how the spin is ridiculous, right? This is unbelievable spin. Literally, Elaine went out and did her talking points. They come out and do their talking stuff, and they're unethical, right? The rule for thee, but not for me. Somebody just said that. There it is. Rules for thee, but not for me. It's insane. Insane.
We're only speaking about what happened in this case, right? And the facts in this case were overwhelmingly positive for Johnny.
You're right.
And the verdict speaks for itself.
How about the broader criticism, though? It's not just from Heard's teams. Victims advocates have argued that the verdict is going to have a chilling effect on domestic violence victims, and it's a blow to the Me Too movement.
I think our response to that is we encourage any victim to come forward. Domestic violence doesn't have a gender.
So you don't see this as a setback to the movement in any way, shape, or form?
We do not. We believe that the verdict speaks for itself. The facts are what they were. The jury made a unanimous decision based on those facts.
Wait, during your cross...
Now, I would have answered that question a little differently. I would have said it doesn't sit back. It puts it forward. The victim in this case won, right? His abuser was found to be liable, right? The victim in this case has won. That's what I would have said. So no matter how you try to spin it, George Stephanopoulos, the victim in this case won, right? So if this is about victims getting justice, that's what we got. We got victims getting justice. But I understand she's trying to walk that needle because, everybody's out there saying, this sets back Me Too, this sets back Me Too. No, it doesn't set back Me Too. It pushes it forward because Me Too seems like everybody was thinking it could only be women. But now we have a man who was obviously abused. His abuser severed his finger, beat him up, lied, did everything possible to destroy the man, and admitted on camera, on tape, I beat you up, right? Everyone knows he was the abuser. But you see how even George Stephanopoulos, he can't even reconcile it when the facts and evidence are clear. The man that you're seeing on screen now, Johnny Depp, is the victim in this case. I'm going to say it forever.
Cross-examination, what was your impression of Ms. Heard's impression on the jury?
I think that her impression on the jury was what it was. I think something that I focused on and we focused on in that cross-examination was using her words against her.
Yes.
And it was very important for us every question that was asked was tied to something she had said previously. And I think the jury got to see and the world got to see and hear from Ms. Heard in that relationship on every single topic.
Shout out to DUI guy in the back there. You see him? DUI guy's back there. And he goes James from court. James, they were there every day. But yeah, I think, and again, this is a legal channel, so I'm going to talk law with you guys. If you guys don't want to hear things about law, one thing I do appreciate is that this does give you an insight to their cross-examination and their tactics. Again, I'm about tactics when it comes to legal issues. And for all of you guys who've been contacting me to help you with legal issues, again, I can't unless you're in New York, and even in New York, I take pro bono cases. So I don't, my clients don't pay me, right? And the only way I can do that is because of YouTube. So for instance, I recently had a case. So my clients don't pay me. Well, in the past, I think 2 years, they haven't paid me. So I take pro bono cases. And I do that because it's kind of my way of giving back, and it's kind of my way of still practicing. This summer, I'm going to be doing pro bono work for criminal defense here in the Bronx. So I do that because I want to do that. And I can bring on many clients. Matter of fact, the client in the New York Times, when I was on the front page of the New York Times, like the client for that case, that was a pro bono case, and it was tough. So that's just that's what I do. For those of you who need an attorney, I can point you to one, but I'm really selective in the cases that I take because I know that so many people need help. But in this case, it allows you to understand the tactics of cross-examination and understand they didn't challenge her with other statements other people said. They challenged her with her own statements. And that's easy to do because Amber Heard said so many things differently before than she said now. So, for instance, she would say, yes, he did this on what did she say earlier? She had said that she didn't remember that she punched Johnny on one day, and then later in the trial she'll say she remembers she punched Johnny, or she'll say I remember this was 2013, and then later she'll say it's 2012. So those lies they were able to get together and then challenge her on the stand with, and we all saw it happen. So it was very, very powerful stuff. But let me go back to playing this. But it's very, very powerful stuff. And that's how you do cross-examination. If you know that you have somebody who's been lying in the past, don't say, well, this person said it and you said it. Challenge them with their own statements. Impeachment. You challenge them with their own statements. Well, you said something differently in the past. And the more you can do that, the less their credibility is going to come off to a jury.
And George, I think there was a real contrast. Johnny took ownership of a lot of things. And it seemed at times, and perhaps it came through to the jury, that she had an answer for everything, and she wasn't taking accountability for anything. And I think that made a difference.
You know, I felt that same way too. Like Amber went up there and was like, "I'm such an angel. I can do no wrong. Oh, Johnny's the abuser. Oh, I'm pure. I'm innocent." But that's just not the case, right? She wasn't pure. She wasn't innocent. She was an abuser. And I think Johnny went up there and said, I'm a drug addict. I did this. I did all this bad stuff, but I didn't do this. And here's the evidence to show I didn't do this. So I think that's a very important point. And I think Ben Chu is right. It allowed you to see who was lying and who was not.
Lawyers say she plans to appeal the verdict. She doesn't have the money to pay for the judgment. And you all have said that the goal is not to impoverish Ms. Heard.
Well, now, this is another legal take that you guys probably won't hear anywhere else. In Virginia, they have this weird rule. Is that, okay, if you're going to appeal, you got to put up a bond, right? And the reason why is that if you lost your case, like Amber Heard did, then you could just appeal and say, I'm not going to pay him for 10 years. But so the state of Virginia is like, no, we're not going to have that. You got to put up something. So we know that you can pay it. And if you don't put that up, you can't appeal. So Amber's going to have to put up some amount. Some people are saying it's the whole $10 million. Some people are saying it's just a fraction of it, maybe 10% or 20% or something like that. But essentially, she's going to have to put up at least $1 million from what I'm seeing to appeal. Now, she doesn't have enough money for the judgment, but does she have enough money to put on bond for appeal? And then if you lose, that money doesn't go back to her. That money goes back to JD. Crazy. So we'll see. We are going to see.
Is it possible where we could see a settlement where she forgoes the appeal in return for Mr. Depp waiving any monetary damages?
Well, George, we obviously can't disclose attorney-client communications, but
course, yeah.
As Mr. Depp testified and as we both made clear in our respective closings, this was never about money for Mr. Depp. So this was about restoring his reputation, and he's done that.
So you're not disclosing any privileges, but it sounds like that's something that could be on the table, but it's up to Ms. Heard?
Again, we have to be careful what we say, but this was about Mr. Depp's reputation. That was what it was about for him.
Your life has changed a lot in the last several weeks. You got made partner this week. Congratulations.
Thank you very
Both
much.
of you have also become
She
some
did
of
make partner.
Social media stars. How has it changed? What does it feel like?
It's been surreal, and if I'm being honest, a bit overwhelming. But if I can be an inspiration to young women that want to go to law school and...
Listen, Camille, I'm stopping it here. You're an inspiration to us all. You worked hard. You're not a pretty face. You are a badass, intelligent attorney. And if you were a man or a woman, we would all be singing your praises because you did such an amazing job. You know, it's kudos to you. And for anybody who wants to get into law, this is an example of the best of us. She is an amazing attorney, and so is Ben Chu. And it's fascinating to see that if she can inspire, she inspires. I wish people can understand. It's not only inspiring women, but inspiring anyone who feels that they can do it and has a cause that they want to. This woman believed in her client. She did the work. These people have been doing this for 4 or 5 years, and what you're seeing now is the culmination of it. That's why she made partner. She made partner for the work she put in. And the trial, I like to always say the trial is like the last 10%, but the 90% we don't see. That's what gets you there. That's what gets you to the door. And that's what they did.
Study and work hard, then it was all worth it.
You made the choice to go to Virginia for this trial. How much of a difference did that make?
I think Virginia was a good venue for some legal and other reasons.
Damn right it was a good
venue. It has
venue.
a fabulous court system, tremendous judges and fair juries, and I think the evidence was listened to carefully on both sides by the jury, and again, it came overwhelmingly in Johnny's favor.
Ms. Hurd did win on one count of defamation. Will you be appealing that?
Again, I think it's premature to say.
Yeah, she's
but
not another
if you
pretty
look
face.
at the context of the
If I said it wrong.
verdict, and it was a total win for Johnny.
Thank you both very much.
Thank you very much, George.
So that's it for that. Yes, I think I said Camille's a pretty face. I'm sorry, Camille's not another pretty face. That's what I meant to say. If I messed it up, no, she is a capable attorney. Like, I couldn't do what Camille does. Like, I know my limitations, right? That's an experienced trial attorney. She's probably one of the best in the country. It's like me playing basketball on and say I can beat Michael Jordan. It wouldn't be a blowout, but. You gotta know. When I know every lawyer believes they're the best attorney, right? I believe that if you give me a case, the time and the money, I'm going to be able to kick ass. But we got to be realistic too. I can't go into a court tomorrow and beat up on Camille. Camille can kick my ass tomorrow, because she's just got the experience, right? My experience, I like. I think it's good, but it's not at that level. So, but the last thing I want to show you now. So we've seen that. The last thing I want to show you guys is that this is a glimpse of a video that's going to be coming out later today, and I want you guys to hear some of the talking points that have been coming out. So. And it's when I listened to him, it was fascinating. It was fascinating stuff to see. Just hearing all the talking points back to back to back, because I was like, my God, they're just saying the same things, and then they have other people saying them, and it seems like what they're doing is by saying it enough times, you get people to start believing these talking points. So let me show you an example. I want to show you one example real quick. Should I do chilling effect? You know what? Let's do imperfect victim. So I'm going to show you the talking points that were put out. I'm going to show you Amber's lawyer saying it multiple times. And then I'm going to show you how the rest of the media started taking that and going and losing it to go to the next level. Check this out. It's fascinating stuff when you go through it in this way, because I didn't expect this. So this is first Camille Vasquez. I got Camille in my brain now. This is Amber Heard's attorney putting out the talking points of perfect victim. So we're going to hear it. Perfect victim. So she's going to mention it.
Well, and that's an excellent question. And to say, and Amber even said on the stand, I am not perfect. I am a human being. These people were giving her death threats. They threatened to microwave her baby.
So that was the first little, she's not a perfect victim statement. She admitted she's not perfect. Then it comes up again, Control C. So, because again, they're trying to convince us all that Amber is not a perfect victim. So here was the talking point again from Elaine.
Argued that this would send a message, that it would send a message that no matter what you do as an abuse victim, you always have to do more. You need to be perfect in order for people to believe you if she did not get a favorable verdict. What message do you think this sends?
It's a horrible message. It's, as I said, a setback. It's a significant setback because.
So you've heard it twice. Perfect victim on CBS. She's not a perfect victim. It's a setback because she's not a perfect victim. So now you see, you're hearing it, right? Here we go again. We're gonna play the perfect victim card again. Now, MSNBC. So after hearing perfect victim, she's not a perfect victim. Listen to how the media's grabbed onto this, and now are going to continue this narrative of Amber not being a perfect victim.
Speak to that piece that you just mentioned about
MSNBC.
Really just the fact that she's not the perfect victim, so she's the perfect proxy for this fight, because if you were to defend her with the full weight of the Me Too movement, you then have to defend everything she's ever done, and some of the facts are not perfect, I should say.
You see? So now you hear NBC, you go to CBS, you go to MSNBC. Perfect victim. She's not the perfect victim. You think that's it, right? No. Here is what's it called? This is Now This. Millions of subscribers. We're going to hear them say it again. Here they go, right? Perfect victim. Again, you see Elaine put it out there, gave them the talking points, and now we're going to perfect victim. Here we go again.
Ms. Heard is a victim of domestic violence. I firmly believe that there are other things that are present in or were present in their relationship. I don't think that negates the fact that Ms. Heard was a victim of domestic violence. If there was anyone that would have understood, particularly on the jury, but also in the courtroom, the dynamics of domestic violence, I believe that even the defamation verdict would have turned out differently. So what people are missing here in regards to domestic violence and the dynamics of domestic violence are several things, actually. The idea that someone with power and control would continue to use a system to maintain that power and control, that there are no perfect victims of domestic violence. I think.
So here we go again, right? The perfect victim, right? Shocking, right? Shocking, right? Now this. But it even gets farther than that. Because then, of course, so this message then goes across the pond. You think it's only here in America? Let's do the BBC, because we're going to hear the same talking point spewed over there. Check this out.
Amber Heard. But coming to the aspect of Me Too that you bring up there, Martha, your article is Me Too is over if we don't listen to the imperfect victims like Amber Heard. And that you see this as kind of a backlash to the Me Too movement. So
this is scary stuff, people. This is scary. Do you see how they're trying to drill it into our brain? Perfect victim, NBC. Perfect victim, CBS. Perfect victim, ABC. Perfect victim. If I go to London, I'm hearing them scream perfect victim. She's not a perfect victim. And they don't even acknowledge that Johnny is the victim of any of this. It's all Amber Heard's a victim, and she's not perfect. This is crazy, and I have a whole bunch of this. I can do this all day. You know what? Because I'm in such a giving mood. Here's the one about the UK trial. You're gonna hear. It's utterly insane. It's utterly insane how the news media is just spouting these nonsense lies back to back to back. And they seem like, and when you say they're all colluding together, you're like, they can't be. But when they're all saying the same thing on every channel that you know is false, it's like, what? She's not a victim, she's the abuser. Britt, in my opinion, the trial was a referendum on something, but not Me Too. If the Waldman statement's decision holds up on appeal, it may have an effect on litigation privilege in VA. If a lawyer is an agent, then the statements are their clients. They will say less in public. Fact. Britt Coleman, facts. Oh wow, that's $100. Thank you. I didn't even realize that was $100. Thanks. Those are facts. I'm going to get to your super chats in a second, guys. But yeah, those are facts. So check this out. I'm in this mode now. I'm supposed to be out of here in a little while. I'm going to play this last little saute of them so you guys can see the talking points. It's so fascinating to me. So here it is. Here's some more talking points. So here's the talking points that we're going to hear late. So these talking points I have labeled under the UK trial. Oops.
UK. Mr.
Sorry.
Depp brought that one.
Let me
The
go back.
Burtles, all the evidence.
Now listen to what
But
she
you
says.
have to
Listen
remember,
carefully.
it's a tale of two trials. All the evidence came in the UK. Mr. Depp brought that one. The burden of proof was on the son in the.
So now the UK trial, tale of two trials, Johnny Depp lost, blah, 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 right? She's saying that on CBS the day after the trial, right? So now let's go to the next clip, right? So now that's on CBS. Now, I mean, that was on CBS. So now let's go to NBC. Is she going to say that? Now, listen to exactly what she said. So we heard exactly what she said here. This is what she says on NBC. So she's on CBS saying that. Here she said it was on NBC.
Well, really what happened here is it's a tale of two trials. Johnny Depp brought a suit in the UK for the same case, and the burden of proof was easier for him there. The son had to actually prove that it was true, and the court found there, and we weren't allowed to tell the jury.
So just so we heard, a tale of two trials again, right? She's saying the same exact thing, right? Twice, right? Tale of two trials, tale of two trials, tale of two trials. Now, you think that's crazy. Then she goes on CNN and says the same thing. Check it out. Here it is. Again, the exact same. She doesn't even change what she's saying. She's saying the same thing. Check this out.
Well, really what happened here is it's a tale of two trials.
Oh, that's just the NBC one. Hold on. Let me get this other one. Oops. Is this one I got? Oh yeah, this is the one I'm getting. Sorry. Copy. Here we go. So this one is this is the one. This is her on CNN.
Here. Now, remember that we had another trial back in the UK, same issues. Lots more evidence came in on that one. And what Mr. Depp's team apparently learned from that is this time demonize Amber and suppress as much evidence as you can.
The tale of two trials. So you know what? Here is one more. I got to play one more because again, those are the talking points that went out all over the world, right? These are the talking points. So now, how does that? Now there's a whole bunch of people who are using that same talking point all over the world, right? So here's another person using that same talking point across the pond. This is the one that called me out yesterday, but she got the talking point. And the great part about this is you're going to see how look down and look at the talking points and then give it, which is fascinating. It's just fascinating to me. People will be like, oh, nature picking on. No. You'll see her look down and look at the talking points before she gives her opinion. I'm going to rewind it back a little bit so you can see her looking down to the talking points.
Case.
Yes. So as to the verdict, I think in the way I understand it, in regards to Me Too, for example.
You see? Let's go to the talking points. Let's look at the talking points. Oh, we got you. So what is she going to say? Let's see what she's going to say.
This is not a straightforward, even though this is the way that the jury has gone, this is not necessarily a straightforward case of, vindictive liar framing her ex-spouse. Mm-hmm. There was a previous court case which finds in conflict with this one in the UK, where Johnny Depp was found to be responsible for 12 counts of assault, and the Sun newspaper was awarded the right to call him a wife beater. So this raises the possibility that in fact Johnny Depp was an abuser who has effectively used the courts to sue Amber.
This is scary, people. Just imagine how scary this is. Elaine is literally going out there lying. And the media has taken it and is making it as fact. I'm literally showing you how the talking points come out in the morning and everybody's spewing them on national TV. All throughout and I have a list of all these things. It's insane. The perfect victim, the chilling effect. These are the talking points. The jury was influenced by and violated their oath. They didn't allow Amber's evidence in. Misogyny. These are the talking points that went out, and they're easy to expose. We pulled all the clips and we're matching them together. We're like, I can't believe they're saying the same things, and I can't believe they think we're so stupid that they can say the same exact things all over the media, all over television. And you know why they're doing that? Because they're trying to groom us to, hey, they're both bad people. She won. The jury was influenced. They're trying to make us just think that because we hear it enough, we internalize it, and then we'll tell other people, well, he really did. It was really a split decision. No. But it's a fascinating look at how media works and how when media has taken one side of a story and deemed it to be true, no matter what the facts are, their talking points are going to mirror that bias. Fascinating. Let me get to your super chats before I get out of here. All right, so we're going to try to get through them all. I got 26 here, so it's going to be rapid fire. Again, thanks again for watching. This is probably, we got maybe one more video about Depp and Heard. If you guys want to watch that, it's going to be about this media coverage and how the talking points went out and how they went up, spread across the world. We're going to have that last video. Next video, we're going to be covering, we have a couple of stories that we are going to be covering outside of Johnny Depp, Amber Heard. I know it's the story that keeps on giving. We're still going to watch the media coverage of this, but we're going to be looking at first they're going to look at the teacher from the police shooting in Texas, and we're going to look at that, and we're going to look at those procedures. We're going to look at the Donkey Kong defense rate that's at the Bill Cosby sex abuse trial. We're also going to be looking at some other stories from around the web with the legal take to it. So hopefully you guys will enjoy that. Those are previews of what's happening, and we may look at some more Depp stuff that comes up, but generally we're going to be really focusing on some other stories, as you guys know the way we break it down. So let me knock down these super chats, and again, thank you guys for super chats. This is our question and answer period. So if you got any questions you want me to answer, you could put Q or question in the chat. My manager will probably pull them up so I can answer. So again, you don't have to super chat to answer the questions, but super chats will be will be, I don't know if that's what is preferred. Super chats will probably be read first, but if you do have a question, my editor will put it and start, and then I will probably read it out and try to answer it. So you don't have to super chat if you have a question. So let me get through these. First, $2. Poll shows Weather Channel is more trusted than CNN. Of course, even TMZ. The least professional attorney in this trial is the one making unprofessional statements in the media. Yes, agreed. I think you're right. Elaine's a horror show. It'll take a long time and a whole lot of money up front in order to even do an appeal, which they'll lose anyway. No grounds, no appeal. Where's she getting the money? Only fans won't pay that. But don't forget, she still has Elon. Elon was paying some big bucks. And most people think that kid is Elon. So I'm not sad for Amber Heard. I think she still has some money. I think her reputation is going to be done. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm assuming she will appeal. I would. Texas native, the MIS, is that missed alum? We have had school shooting drills since 9/11. I remember having more drills than tornado drills. Wow. Oh, interesting. Thanks for that. I'm going to check that out. If there was a movie about how the mainstream media spin the narrative despite overwhelming evidence that the women lied, like the Depp Heard trial, people would find the plot unbelievable. We see it. You literally see it live, right? We've been looking at it live. The spin. Not to mention every single body, as Andrew stated, she would be deceptive or outright lie. Wendy's, I got to stop reading your super chat, Wendy's. you got me laughing. Wendy's, stop doing this. Stop making me laugh. But you're totally right. You guys got to look at every single one. Usually you'll see, like, some say yes, some say she's lying, some say the other ones are bad, but it's like, yo, this bitch is a liar. Thanks, Wendy's. I love how professional and diplomatic they are. Yes, and you can see it. You can see the difference in professionalism. We're not talking about all this other stuff. We're talking about this trial and what happened here. I think, that's Camille. Camille's a professional, so is Ben. When someone is found not guilty of murder, do the talking heads wring their hands that this sets back justice for murder victims? No. They tried to do that with Rittenhouse, but, we all saw Rittenhouse too. Rittenhouse, and I know, listen, there are going to be people maybe even in this chat who think Rittenhouse was. If you think Johnny Depp was defamed, and because you watched the trial and saw the evidence, watch the Rittenhouse trial, if you can, and you'll see the media did the same thing to Rittenhouse. I know there's a whole bunch of political implications of that, but just I always tell people, some of my hardcore left-leaning friends watched the Rittenhouse trial, and at the end came out, but the same thing with Chauvin and even Ahmaud Arbery. Some of my hardcore right-leaning friends went into Ahmaud Arbery thinking that he would that he should have been McMichael should have been found not guilty. But after watching the trial, came to a different conclusion. So that's what this thing does. It helps us come to the conclusions based on the evidence. Me Too has multiple victims from the same abuser. That's literally why it's called Me Too. Good point. Because the women were saying he did it to me too. Harvey Weinstein, Bill Cosby. I think Bill Cosby is a great example of that. Michael says, when I was a DV victim, nobody believed me because I was a man. When she told police I did to her what she was really doing to me, they believed her without hesitation. When I had evidence, it was downplayed. Wow. And dismissed. Michael, I'm so sorry that happened to you, but that's a story for a lot of men. And I think that's the story. That's the power coming out of this. Me Too and domestic violence isn't gender specific. And I've had similar situations. I've had someone lie on me about something. I've had a woman say I've done something to them and that I've never even met. And the reason why is because she thought that people would just believe her. And then when people came out and said, you're obviously lying, then she had to come and make a public apology. So yeah, it's interesting because for the privileges you do have as a man, there are some setbacks. And I think this is one of the setbacks where if you're a domestic violence survivor as a male, it's less likely you're going to be believed. A step forward for men does not automatically mean a step back for women. Amber is a step back for liars. Yes, 100% true. 100% true. Michael Dunlizzy, I'm sorry you dealt with this. Much love. Yeah. Michael, thanks for sharing your story, Michael. So essentially, we have crowdfunded you as a lawyer for people who really need one, but can't afford one. Keep up the great work. No, well, I don't know if you're crowdfunding me because I'm giving you a service here, but a lot of people ask. You'll see my DMs. A lot of people ask me to take their case, but I can't. And the reason why I do it for two reasons. I want to make it very clear. I do it once because I've always wanted to do it, right? As someone who if you have a case and I can take it and I can help you and you want a qualified lawyer, then I'll take your case and I'll try to help you if it works with my schedule. And the second thing is that I've been in a position where I've had friends who needed good attorneys, who had to take pleas, who had to do things like that because they didn't. Their attorney was just trying to get rid of the case. And I'll say, I've been successful in most of the cases I've taken. Well, pretty much. No, to be honest with you, pretty much all of them, except for like one. But at the end of the day, I provide you this service and you guys help me support me. And this gives me the freedom to go and do this. Like, I just had a case 2 weeks ago that I finished. And that was a fantastic case where the person, could have gone to jail. And, we were able to help that person out. One of my biggest cases, which was a paid case though, one of my biggest cases started off as a pro bono case, but then developed into a paid case. It was a domestic violence survivor and a defamation case, right? It's the same thing that's going on here. So you don't never know where these cases are going to go. But, I do this because I do want to practice law and I do want to just I'm going to keep the steel sharp, which is my mind. And it will get dull if I'm not in that courtroom, if I'm not arguing with other attorneys. I'm just going to be sitting here getting dull talking to you guys. So I need to be challenged. So that's why I go and take these cases and I'll go to traffic court and argue with somebody, right? I'll go to housing court and argue with somebody. I'll go, because it's steel sharpens steel. And talking to you guys are great, but I need to be challenged in a court of law. And I need to be challenged by other attorneys to keep steel. So when I come and give you my opinions, you guys know I'm giving it to you from sharpened steel, not from dull steel, if that makes sense to you guys. I know I'm talking a lot. I'm sorry. Let me read these super chats because I'm going to have to go pretty soon. Nate, do you think Amber Heard has grounds for appeal? Yes. She does. Which are they? I think she can make the appeal that their statements are opinions. I think a second appeal is that no reasonable jury should have found. And I think her last appeal is that her last case would probably be the statements are essentially true, even by implication. So I think she has a better federal case than she has a state case. The state law allows implication. Federal law is a little bit more nuanced. And if it does go up to the Supreme Court, I think there may be a problem for Depp, because I do think defamation by implication kind of really expands defamation law a little bit. And if you have a conservative Supreme Court, they generally like to restrict or restrict the power of the states to encroach on the First Amendment. So this ruling does encroach on it a little bit. We can't be obtuse about it. But will the courts allow this infringement upon it? Generally, they do. But this defamation by implication, there are legal issues here. Do I think Amber Heard's got a chance, but I don't think her chance is going to be, I don't think, I say appeals are for losers, but if I'm telling you she has absolutely no chance on appeal, that wouldn't be honest. That wouldn't be an honest opinion. That would be just feeding to the crowd. Oh, she didn't have a chance for appeal, and hopefully you guys will clap for me. That's not what I do. She does have if I was writing an appeal, I would write her one hell of an appeal. She would have a shot. Do I think she's going to win? No, but she would have a shot. And that's all you can ask. Tiptoe says, would it be wrong for Camille to just outright say the jury knew Amber Heard? No, she could definitely say that. Yes, they knew she was lying. Yeah, I would say that. Thanks, Tiptoe. Yeah, she could say that. Virginia lawyer Robert Barn Virginia lawyer Robert Bryan chimed in on the cost of appeal. Appeals there may be a new law as of January. Too complicated for me to explain. I'm going to look, because I know Rob practices in that courtroom, so I'm going to ask him. But I've heard that there's a bond that you do have to pay, but I'm not sure about how much. Some people are saying $500, some people are saying it's got to be 10%, some people are saying it's got to be the whole thing. But it seems to be something she's got to put up. I don't know how much it is. Amber Heard, EB, and the mainstream media, Elaine Birkin, her attorney, and the mainstream media make all the same mistakes, underestimating the intelligence of their audience, facts. On long term, they undermine their own credibility. Stupid. Yeah. Well, we see it, and you saw it here. Wonder what would happen if it was a woman on woman. I do too. It's terrifying to think how easily the mainstream media could be swayed by public opinion on this case if it wasn't streamed. Love your coverage on this. Thank you. But you see, right? Just imagine, and I love this, because just imagine this, people. Just imagine this. Imagine we didn't see any of the trial, but we saw that. All right, we saw Elaine on all the morning shows. We saw how all the other shows took her talking points and essentially said they were true. Right? That's what would have come out of this trial. It would have been so much more money, because we wouldn't know, but we saw it. So they can't pull the wool over our eyes, because we saw it. Thank you for that super chat. Me Too movement could have captured, Me Too movement could have copulated, I can't read now, to a new level with this case by embracing all victims. Catapulted. Why can't I read all the time? Let me read this again, Bridget, because you wrote it right. My eyes can't read for some reason. Me Too movement could have catapulted to a new level with this case by embracing all victims. This is amazingly correct super chat. Yes. Why they want to die on the A.H. Hill is beyond me. Bridget, I couldn't have said it better myself. JD is also not the perfect victim. Abuse has no gender. Facts. Spit that truth, people. Spit the truth. Some have the facts. Some of the facts are not perfect. Is one heck of a, you guys, I don't know this word, but I'm just trying to, effusium of how the evidence was against Amber Heard's case. I got to look up this word, because I probably know it, but I haven't seen it written down before. Let's go to Bex. Many female DV survivors, self-included, don't want all women to be believed or male victims marginalized. Rather, we want the truth to be believed. I hate that the mainstream media has been ignoring our voices. Yeah, it's sad, because the mainstream media is making this about gender, and this is not about gender, people. I'm just saying, this has never been about gender. This is about an abuser, right? Lying and telling the world that they were being abused. And that just wasn't true. Funny coming from the side that tried to paint Johnny as imperfect and their client as perfect. Now they're upset that the jury didn't buy their perfection. Beautiful, beautifully said. I didn't even realize that, but that's true. They were trying to paint her as the perfect victim. And now they're like, oh, she's not perfect. That's the reason why we lost. You're an idiot. Yeah, it's like, you're an idiot. Well, you've been telling them she's perfect, and now you're saying she's not perfect. Depp had so much more he could have shared or highlighted, such as his own drug and alcohol abuse, which he did share. Why did she have her own nurse and shared a doctor on the stand? Why did she have her own? Well, the problem is that her own nurse and doctor, let's just be very, very clear here. Her own nurse and her doctor both said that she was not being accurate when she said she had injuries, right? Because they evaluated her. So it's insane, because it wasn't Amber Heard versus Johnny Depp for truthfulness. It was Amber Heard versus everybody else. There was like 20 or 25 people who were saying she was lying. But the media says we should believe her. Me Too was started by a black woman about black and brown women not being believed, not white women. Oh yeah, I do remember that, because that was the hashtag. Yeah. Interesting. That's a good point. Please look on behavioral arts. This guy has a nice video with the lane. The behavioral arts, that's my boy. Yeah, he has great videos. That's my boy. Matter of fact, I'm gonna see if I can get him on the channel. But yeah, behavioral arts. That's my brother. That guy is fantastic. I gotta have him on the show. But yeah, I'll check out this. I check out all his videos. I think I saw that one too. Signed black. Oh yeah, done. I signed black belt barrister's petition to reopen the UK trial. Even though I don't really think it's necessary, but if you got to, yes, he's got a petition out. Wendy's. It's obvious none of them watch much of the trial, if any at all. The trial shows how the nation is trying to demonize everyone who doesn't agree with them. Something lots of us know long before this trial. Wendy's, you are spitting fire today, girl. It is you are on fire. You're right. I don't agree with anything you just said. Auntie says, notice Elaine claimed the UK win as we won in the UK, but she didn't, right? They didn't win in the UK. The Sun, they weren't even in the UK trial. She took ownership. Depp team totally humble but direct. The real victim won. Yes. Because she's trying to save. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Michelle, for the super sticker. She's trying to save face. We won. Now they won. Question: can Elaine get in trouble with the court and judge? Yes, she can. If you are making it seem like the jury was corrupt without any evidence, that can get you in trouble, right? That's why you're supposed to say. Usually you'll hear attorneys say, let me put my attorney hat. You'll usually hear them say, even though we disagree with the jury and we're going to appeal, we believe the evidence has shown that my client didn't do what was alleged, and we're going to appeal this verdict. We believe the jury got it wrong. That's what you say. You don't say, we believe the jury was corrupt and they were doing outside research that hurt my client. That is not what you're supposed to say. And that can get you an ethical violation. Question: plead or pleaded? I keep hearing both. What is more common in the legal profession? Love your channel. I would say pled guilty, but sometimes you'll hear pleaded guilty. So it really depends on when I'm in court. It's pled, but I do hear pleaded. So I'm not too sure. And I've done when I was in the Bronx DA's office. So you guys don't know, when you're in the Bronx DA's office and you do arraignments, so you'll go there and you'll maybe have 200 cases. And the pled, do you plead? And most of those people are pleading. So do you plead guilty? You plead guilty, and then we'll say the person pleaded because it's in the past. So I don't know. I've stood on maybe thousands of cases there, and it's interchangeable. Nate the lawyer, HVAC Easton Klein called Kyle a murderer. What are his chances of getting sued? You can call him a murderer if it's an opinion. It's going to be tough. It's going to be that is going to be tough. It's just like calling JD an abuser. You can say I think he can say he disagrees with the jury, but it is what it is. Nate the lawyer, question: can the jury sue Elaine for defamation? No, because you can't, because it's an aggregate group and nobody knows who the juries are. So they'd have to at least dox themselves if they're going to do that. Wendy says this SC is brought to you by me. Promote my Twitch so I can keep paying you. The super chat is brought to me by you. Promote my Twitch. Wendy's Cafe has a Twitch. Go check it out. Roger M says she became more famous for the stepped on a bee meme than anything else in her career. Stepped on a bee? Yeah, that was crazy. Hey, Nate, studying for the LSAT. Oh, great. Sent you a message on Twitter. I didn't see it. Was a psychological abuse victim by my parents. They projected their behavior on me. I'm sad. And said I was the abuser. Wow. That's crazy. Good luck with the LSAT. I gotta check. You sent me a DM on Twitter. You sent me a message on Twitter. I'm gonna look for it. If you need any help with the LSAT, I'll definitely give you some resources. But good luck. And sorry to hear. And thank you for sharing your story. But I'm sorry to hear that. That's insane. And now I gotta go look for your DM. A case you might be interested in is Humble Bundle versus Valve. A case about unfair business practices and a monopoly in the PC video game market. I might check it out. This one is if Elaine. I gotta remember this case. Hey, if my manager, if you can just take down this case, just so we can look at it. If Elaine was smart, I know. Big if. She'd try to kill the tale of two trials narrative, as even she noted that the UK trial has a lower burden. So if Johnny won the harder one, kind of makes the UK one sus. Facts. Homeschool Mama because it became a YouTube member. Thank you, Homeschool Mama. I appreciate you. Question: Have you seen Michelle Dunbar's tweet? She's a professor of law at Stanford. Wow. I haven't seen it, but I got to check it out. I'll check it out. I was a professor at a law school, so I know some of them are. I remember with one professor, right? One professor's been there for years. This is at another law school. So I was like, because I was telling them I was doing pro bono work while I was a professor. And again, it was just to still sharpen steel. I felt stupid telling students how to be lawyers, but I was like not practicing. So I was like, so I was taking pro bono cases while I was there. And I remember one of my colleagues who'd been there for like 20 years. I was like, hey, how many cases have you done? Because I needed help in one of the cases. But she was like, I've never tried a case in my life. I was like, so you've never been to the court? She's like, no, I'm just a pure academic. And I always found out, I was like, oh, and they come to find out a lot of them were just academics. They had not actually been in the courtroom. They were, this legal theory. So I think that's the disconnect between practice and law school. Is that a lot of the people who are teaching it don't practice it. It's actually pretty rare when you have somebody who practices it, who teaches it, which is fascinating. Andrea Burkhart just posted a great detailed video on appeal course. This is her expertise. Yeah, she is an appellate lawyer. I'm not. You should check it out. Stay awesome, Nate. Thank you. And I'm gonna see it because I know there's a whole bunch of people saying it, so I gotta figure it out. But thanks. I gotta check it out. And just so everybody knows, so Andrea lost the bet and she owed me $50. But we came to something and said, hey, it's not about the $50. It's we were all right. So, but so we gave up on the bet because she cried, but she didn't cry, so it was kind of that thing. Deborah McCarter says, why is Elon paying Amber money? Because they used to date and. He's got it like that. He's a boss. He's got it like that. Question, Ivani, what's going on? Good to see you. Will Johnny get an injection so Amber Heard never mentions him? Injunction. So Amber Heard never mentions him again, or publish that he abused her. I don't think she may, but I don't think they're gonna get that. I don't think he's gonna get the injunction. So we'll see. Let's get to this one. There is nothing wrong with a movement that encourages victims of domestic violence to come forward. However, each case, each accusation needs to actually be considered on its own merits. And that's essentially what we've all been saying. We've been saying it since the beginning, right? Each case is unique. You are my favorite lawyer. Oh, thank you. Your joy and humility is contagious. What is the Depp case in L.A. going to be about? The Depp case in L.A. Or Camille and Ben defending him? I got to look up the Depp case in L.A. I haven't seen it, but thank you. I got to check it out. I got to check that. Hey, can you please write that down? Just take note of that. Depp case in L.A. I haven't heard about it. Question: why isn't Amber being charged for perjury? It's difficult to charge, difficult to win a perjury case, and you don't want the spending resources on this silly thing. So I'm assuming they're not going to charge her for perjury, but we'll see. I can be shocked. Did you see that Rittenhouse is suing the mainstream media and Facebook? Yes, I watched the interview with him and his lawyer last night on the Fox channel. Well, they should. I think Rittenhouse has a really good lawsuit because they were defaming him. If you watch. And this is I know it's going to lose people because I know there's going to be lefties who thinks he's out. I can only say this: if you believe Johnny Depp, right, didn't abuse Amber Heard, the only reason why you believe that is because you watched the case. Most people think the bad things about Kyle Rittenhouse because they did not watch the case. Kyle Rittenhouse supported BLM. He was a BLM supporter, but nobody is saying that. Kyle Rittenhouse was a BLM supporter, but you will never hear that from the mainstream media. But that's a true fact, and that's what I'm talking about. That's the brainwashing, and we see that in this case. Question: playing catch up. Do you agree that the knives that Amber Heard and friends are literally brought to the table were a veiled threat, a la Bobbitt, Lorena Bobbitt? I don't think so. I don't know. I'm not thinking too much into it. It could be. If I see knives around, then but I don't know. The Sun owns Rupert Murdoch. Rupert Murdoch. The owner are the Murdochs, Tesla, board of directors, them are the Murdoch, News Corp, Fox Corporation, both owned by Murdochs. You tell me if you think Elon was involved. Good point. Much love to all the DV survivors out there, both male and female. Yeah. And I think that needs to be said. Thank you, Michael. Wendy says, Michael Dubert will piss off Nate. Are you sure you want to look her up? No, nobody's going to piss me off because it is what it is, right? It is what it is. It's, everybody has their opinion. I believe you have a right to an opinion, even if I believe your opinion is wrong. That's free speech. Nate and Eric for the win. Yes, don't forget, subscribe to Nate and Eric. We got a couple of more videos coming out this week. We're actually going to be shooting them tonight. So, yes, please subscribe to Nate and Eric. Thanks, Eric. And this is the last one. Men used Me Too in 2017 to tell their stories, but we're told that Me Too were not for men to use. And that's a shame. That's a shame. Because it shouldn't be about gender. It should be about victims. I believe Kyle Rittenhouse, like I believe Amber Heard. They cried the same. An American man. Well, listen, you could believe whoever, right? I'm not saying believe Kyle Rittenhouse at all. I'm not saying believe Amber. I'm saying believe facts and evidence. That's all I'm saying. So take out whoever. Believe the facts and evidence because you can't go wrong. If you look at the facts and evidence and come to your own conclusion, an informed opinion, then no matter what opinion you come to, I trust that you are a good enough person who are smart enough where if I give you the facts, you'll come to the right conclusion. And the media doesn't trust you, but I do. Emily D. Baker does, Nick Rekieta does, Viva Free, all Legal Bites, all of us, we trust you. That's why we stream these trials. That's why we do what we do. And that's why we don't try to spin it. When the facts are on our side, we're going to tell you. And just like yesterday, somebody challenged me, said, hey, Nate, you're getting something wrong. And I looked it up on stream and apologized. I got it wrong. Because I don't have any fear. The only fear is, my biggest fear about doing this is saying something that's wrong and not correcting it. Because that is what this should be about. It's not about being right. It's about doing right. And with that said, I'm out of here. If you like what I said and you like this thing, don't forget, like, share, subscribe, do all that great YouTube stuff. My name is Nate the Lawyer, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.